In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about the NHS in Scotland. Why? Many people in the doorstep, we've found, wonder why the NHS is playing a significant part in the campaign, because after all, it is devolved in Scotland and we're facing a general election for Westminster. So what I want to do is just explain why it is an important issue and that we need to understand the nature of that. First of all, the way in which Scotland is funded is through a thing called the Barnett formula. Basically what that means is, however much is spent on health or education and other matters that are devolved in England, we get a proportion to cover the costs in Scotland. So if the budgets rise south of the border, we get an increase. If budgets are cut south of the border, we get cut proportionately. In England, over the last few years, there has been increasing privatisation of services. What does that mean? It means that instead of putting public money into retaining it as a fully public service, more and more they want to farm it out to private companies. The more in which private companies do things in the health service creates a circumstance where it is likely in the longer run that they'll start charging. There isn't a country in the world with a significant degree of privatised medicine where people are not charged. And if people are charged, that burden falls particularly hard on those who are poor and most vulnerable to ill health. This runs completely counter to the SNP's view that health should be free at the point of use. This is most usefully demonstrated by the fact that in recent years it has been an SNP government that has abolished prescription charges. So we've got a number of things we have to do. We have to protect Scotland's budget so that we can continue to have the NHS as part of the public sector. That means we have to be in Westminster to argue against the further privatisation of the NHS elsewhere so that our budget is secured. We also want to prevent the view beginning to dominate matters so that pricing or charging becomes acceptable. It's not. The other reason it's part of the campaign is because some opponents, particularly the Labour Party, are using it to try and suggest that people should be frightened about the future of the NHS. This is utterly despicable in my view. People should not be frightened about the NHS. The NHS serves us well. There are good, strong, dedicated, well-qualified people working in the NHS in Scotland and in Fife, serving us all. We should be thanking them, not creating scare stories about them. And let's just set the record straight. Compared with the last years of when Labour were in control in Scotland, in Fife alone, the SNP government is spending £146 million a year more in the health sector than Labour ever did. And if you compare it in terms of the number of people employed, there were 6,870 under Labour. There are 7,308 employed in Fife under the SNP. So we should be confident in the competence of the SNP in being able to manage the health sector within the public sector to deliver for the people, but we need to protect it from the cuts that are happening south of the border and protect it from NHS privatisation. That is the way to secure a healthy future for us all. Thank you for listening.